Everybody, welcome to the Tuesday, November 25th work session of the Harnett County Board of Commissioners. This time I'll call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Eddie Jaggers to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, as we call on you this day, Lord, we're thankful you gave us another day. We just ask that you would bless this day, Lord. We just ask that you would be about this business that we conduct the county. Lord, we just ask that you'd help us do what's right. Best things in your name, Lord.
If everyone would please remain standing for the Harnett County Heroes Remembrance presentation.
Please come up front. All the way up front. Robert A. Hensley, Warrant Officer 1. Silver Star, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in connection with military operations against the enemy on March 9th, 2013, while serving as Assistant Detachment Commander, Special Forces Operational Detachment, Alpha 3134, Special Operations Task Force East, Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Mr. Hensley distinguished himself by fearlessly engaging a large enemy force and coordinating fires to recover friendly forces trapped in the open and under heavy enemy fire. Mr. Hensley personally retrieved critical weapon systems and supplies by traveling across open engagement areas. Had he not done so, enemy forces would have been able to significantly challenge and likely compromise friendly defenses. His actions are in keeping with the finest traditions of military heroism and reflect distinct credit upon himself, the Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force Afghanistan, the Special Operations Joint Task Force Afghanistan, and the United States Army. Mr. Hensley, on November 25th, 2025, your name and citation that appear on the Harnett County Wall of Heroes and will remain so forever as part of the history of Harnett County is being duly recognized for your act of heroism while serving in the United States Armed Forces. We as a county come together to commend you for your actions and dedications to this great nation. Thank you.
Outstanding. Okay, at this time, I'll consider any additions and deletions to the published agenda.
Motion to approve agenda is presented.
Motion and a second to approve the published agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda passes. All right, this time we will discuss the Harnett County Greenway feasibility studies. Mr. Carl Davis, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. So this morning I have Steve Bosmosky with me. He's with Alta Planning and Design. Since January, they've been working on a Greenway feasibility study, pretty much from the town of Lillington to the Dunn Erwin Rail Trail, passing through Campbell University and also town of Coates. These corridors were originally discovered in our original Greenway, our bike ped and Greenway plan that we did back in 2021. And then this is narrowing it down to really focus on those areas to see what the study says. Are they feasible or not for us to actually put a Greenway trail in these sites? So that's what Steve is going to present today. He's going to give a brief overview of the process and where we're at and also what the study found. After Steve presents, I'm going to jump back up here and just ask for approval or adoption of this plan, and I'll explain why the adoption of the plan is important. So, Steve?
All right, thanks, Carl. And thank you to Harnett County for the opportunity to work with you all on this project. I'm going to go through a brief overview presentation, discuss the background process, study results, and next steps. Feel free to ask questions as I go along. This project, we had a steering committee that guided the process that met three times. So these are key implementation partners that came to these meetings. So Harnett County, and of course, Town of Lillington, Campbell, Coates, NCDOT, and Campo. As Carl mentioned, these corridors stem from the Harnett County Greenway plan that was completed in 2021, in Lillington to Coates to Dunn Irwin Rail Trail. And many of you probably already know this, but the greenways, when we're referring to greenway corridors, we're talking about 10 to 12 foot paved shared use paths that accommodate walking and biking and other wheeled uses, wheelchairs, skateboards, rollerblades, that sort of thing. The process, we kicked the process off earlier in 2025. We had 3 steering committee meetings throughout the process. In the spring, we looked at different alternatives and came up with some preferred alignments towards the summer. And then we had our draft recommendations shared with the public in September. And then we came up with the final summary document and maps that you all reviewed in October, just about a month ago. Public engagement-wise, we had 2 public open house events here in this building, one in the existing conditions phase and one in the recommendations phase, several stakeholder interviews, and then for folks who couldn't make it to in-person meetings, we had this information available for comment on the project website throughout the process. We had approximately 65 people attend the open house meetings, a lot of hits on the county social media during the announcement, especially for the September meeting that we had. We had one in May and one in September. A lot of excitement for trails in Harnett County, especially as the county starts to grow and more and more. Now's the time to think ahead on these things and look at connectivity. And then the study itself is broken up into 4 sections, starting with an overview of the project and opportunities and challenges, and then getting into the alignment, and then the meat of the plan of the feasibility studies in Chapter 4, the action plan section. Like any Greenway plan I've ever worked on, some of the key opportunities and challenges, there's going to be bridges and railroad corridors that we need to go under. Luckily there's some space on the Main Street Bridge and the railroad bridge here, just east of here. But things like getting through and around wetlands and drainage areas, utilities are always going to be part of the challenges that we need to work through and look at during these processes. And then the preferred alignments, we focused on the darker green are the projects that are the top priority segments that we're looking at. While this study did look at Lillington to Coates to the Dunn Irwin Rail Trail, by the end of the process, it became clear that the focus area of Cape Fear Shiner Park to Capeton to Campbell was the top logical first step. And then same with Coates, their downtown old railroad corridor. The other corridors, certainly important to have to think about long term, but probably longer term than these first areas. And then in the document, we broke these up into implementable segments, so pieces that could be implemented on their own. Some of these led by the different entities on our steering committee. And we'll just kind of walk through these real quick here. Segment 1 is really one of the key ones that's in Harnett County's court because the Cape Fear Shiner Park, as you all know, has several existing trails and then owns property east of the railroad corridor where there currently aren't trails between there and the Main Street Bridge, and that could be a logical first step for Harnett County to continue building to the east. And then to the east in this map here on the Capeton future development, they've dedicated a greenway easement along the Cape Fear River that the town of Lillington is currently in the design process for. And so you have a little bit of space between Cape Fear Shiner Park to link the future Capeton development. There's one private property right there. So if you're able to make that link and build that section, you could have about 3 miles of riverfront greenway there. So that in itself is a lot of work right there, and would be a pretty awesome building block for the county. And so that was, part of the reason for this being a key focus area. And then this is just an overview of that Capeton Development Greenway, where they've dedicated space along the Cape Fear River, and that's in the town of Lillington jurisdiction. And that they're leading that design process as we speak, which is exciting. And then to the east, segment 3 is really in Campbell University's court. They were on our steering committee and had some great candid feedback throughout the process. The property east of the Capeton development, as you all may know, is the old golf course at Campbell University, and they're currently deciding what they're going to do with that property and going to go through a master planning process for campus over the next couple of years. And so hopefully this greenway can be a part of that. And they certainly have it in their mind too, and are interested in greenway connectivity. And then one thing I'll just note here, that's probably something that would be a Harnett County effort, is that 3C in the upper left-hand corner. That's a gap between the Capeton development. They are building a greenway or shared use path along the south side of 421 as part of their development. And if Campbell University were to build greenway along their property just to the east, there'd be a little gap right there, and that's something that Harnett County and Lillington could help fill in. And then continuing to the east, segment number 4 is the Health Sciences campus to the main campus, really getting folks away from that US 421 corridor and connecting back into that US 421 tunnel in the Campbell campus there. And then lastly, the Coates Rail Trail, the downtown corridor is partially owned by the town of Coates and partially owned by several different private property owners. We think this could be a great economic development opportunity to build into future plans. They're currently doing some economic development planning, and they're served on our steering committee. So it's an idea that was exciting to them, have a linear park through their downtown core. And then I'll just end on here a few brief action steps. The document, this is the last page of the document. In there, one of the first steps that we recommend is approving this study officially for all jurisdictions along the corridors here. It helps to signify to funders that the county supports this project. And then, next action steps are continuing the coordination between Lillington and Campbell, and then solidifying alignments for places where other property owners like Lillington and Campbell University, other private landowners are along these corridors, and solidify the alignments, and then look at funding for the design phase and construction phase. Hopefully next 5 to 10 years, these projects can become reality. And with that, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. And I'll take any questions this time too. I know Carl might speak to this a little bit more too.
Yeah, so happy to answer any questions. Before that, just to let you know, part of the study include cost estimates, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at them. If you did, you'll see some very large numbers in there. This is not this study does not ask for any money. This is just setting us up to be able to ask for money in the future through other grant agencies and everything else. So this is part of that process of building greenways, where we started off with the bike ped plan, the feasibility study. So now we're ready to move into design and construction. For that, we had to do this study so we could plan out future funding for it, which most of it will not be county funded. Our ideas are coming in through other funding sources, whether it's DOT, LAP funding, that type of stuff. This sets us up for that. So that's why we're here today. Is to move forward with this, we can start on the other processes to start looking for those funding sources. Obviously, to adopt it, we want to adopt it today, the grant support. It also helps our development services programs, or our department with any ordinances that we're looking at doing. We want the developer to help build these types of facilities. This helps that also. It backs up that program. It also helps up with DOT projects. So when DOT comes in and wants to renovate a road, and we've already got these on a map, they look at that also, and so they help build these things also. So it's all part of that process. Any questions for us?
Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like to me that you came before some years ago with the Greenway project that included Raven Rock. What happened to that?
That project's still ongoing, and actually, on December 9th, I'll come before you to ask for y'all to accept a grant that we just received from the Great Trail State Program for the conversion of the railroad easement that's there now to a Greenway easement. That will start that process to actually build that out. Now that spur only goes halfway from Lillington to Raven Rock, but that's the first start that we would go there. But I'll give you more information on that on December 9th when I ask for y'all to accept that fund.
Well, thank you, because I was sitting here thinking what happened to that.
Yeah.
And I know that Shannon's Park was part of that too, right?
Yes, ma'am. And so I think we're all new to greenways in Harnett County. This is not something we have a whole lot of. Obviously, Darwin Rail Trail is probably the only real considered greenway trail we have. We have a lot of trails in the county, but they're centralized to certain parks. I think we've learned through this process that greenways don't happen overnight. They take a long time, unfortunately,
Like everything else.
and a lot of money also. So we're learning that process, but we understand this is what a lot of county citizens want. The number one thing we get in any surveys that we have is people want trails. So that's why we're moving forward with this process, and we see the importance of it.
Well, I'm for it, but I want you to know I'm one here, sitting here. They recognize the time that it takes to move anything here in Harnett County. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Pleasure of the board to add this to the consent agenda for approval next week.
Consent agenda.
We'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda for next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Economic Development Quarterly Update. Mr. Stephen Barrington, good morning, sir.
Boone Edom is a company that has 150 years of history. We produce security products that participate in the security ecosystem that keep people safe in their places of business. Security doors, portals, turnstiles. Our products that are built right here in Lillington kind of go all over the world. Location is critical, and we have a factory here in Lillington, North Carolina, and we also have a commercial office in Raleigh, North Carolina. Being in North Carolina, and more specifically the Research Triangle region, helps us have access to a very rich talent pool. We have access to those leading universities. We have very strong ties with our community colleges. They help feed us for machining jobs, welding jobs, fabrication jobs, assembly jobs. There's a lot of skilled labor in this environment, and that's why you see so many manufacturers moving into North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the most military-friendly states, and we benefit from that greatly. We've experienced that people transitioning from the military into the private sector bring with them a dedication, a discipline, a professionalism that's hard to match. One of the things I love best about North Carolina is the quality of life. Beach, it's just a few hours away. Under a couple hours, we can be in the mountains. The company based in the Netherlands. So having Raleigh be this international airport that we have access to makes it a lot easier to travel. If I was talking to another CEO from another company considering moving here, one of the biggest benefits I can mention is that all of the groups in North Carolina are very hungry for the business. They want to talk to you about what matters to you, how they can make doing your business easier in North Carolina.
So you can see we were going for the cinematic approach this morning, and we're very proud of our existing companies. And that relationship was actually through the Research Triangle Regional Partnership.
North Carolina's Research Triangle, where some of the country's most prominent universities are located, is one of the fastest growing.
And again, we're very proud. The Research Triangle Regional Partnership put that together. They're using that for their own marketing as well. That relationship with Research Triangle Regional Partnership is one whereby they are our primary FDI supporter. When we talk about that, we're talking about the regional foreign direct investments. That's the value of that organization for us. As you can see, every quarter we come here, we'll talk about the active projects. This fluctuates in terms of the number of projects, taxable investment, jobs based on what we're working on at that moment. Today we have 3 shortlisted projects that we're part of, and we're competing against fewer companies related to those 3. But it all starts here. It all starts with market-ready property. If we really do not have the market-ready property or market-ready industrial buildings, we cannot compete. And available land does not equal market-ready sites. We have 5 market-ready sites, unique sites that we're consistently submitting for projects. There is a separate one that is market-ready. It's over 500 acres, and we have to work with the owner on one-off projects. But we're working on 7 different other sites to bring them up to the fold itself. And that's what I really wanted to highlight today. I wanted to talk to you about 5 different sites. Since we were here at the end of July, we kind of let you know broadly what we're doing across the county. Today, just want to kind of highlight, here's some activities since then that have occurred. First and foremost, the Edgerton Industrial Park Site 1, the clearing and grading should be complete middle of December. That includes the seeding and everything. So if you go by there now, for all practical purposes, the clearing and grading have been complete, but they still need to do seeding on this site. We are working with, via the Harnett Economic Development Corporation, they are funding Site 2. So we're starting the engineering exercises at this point. In the spring, we'll be looking to do the same thing, clear and grade. This property here is again, this is another Harnett Economic Development Corporation funded project, but right across from Harnett 95, the first Class A industrial park in the county, it sits a beautiful piece of property that we are now going to be doing the due diligence to bring that property up to the market as well. Our goal is as many properties as we can identify and bring to the market. It just allows us to compete for more opportunities for the county itself. Harnett 87, since our last visit, we did award Colliers Engineering with this project. They're working right now on some environmental exercises as well as identifying how to get back there to that property. Thanks to the garrison, the garrison commander for the Fort Bragg, they've allowed us to also access Nursery Road as well, their property off Nursery Road, to see if there's a second access opportunity in that area. The Robin Hood site. Last week we held a small little event and really had a final report of the Robin Hood site. This is the last exit on 95 as you get into Johnston County, 160 acres, give or take. Actually, I think it's a little bit more because we added a couple of small pieces within. I think it may be 178, but give or take, you have this. They found that this property is they got very excited about this property because, 1, where it's located, but 2, it's relatively flat and largely open at this time. Do know that there needs to be and will need to be some infrastructure improvements down the road, and also due diligence exercises for this particular property, but it's one that the site selectors are very keen on. And this was funded by Duke Energy, this exercise. The last thing really wanted to highlight is that we are continuously seeking grant funds. So when we look at projects and we want to bring new project to the market, we're constantly look at how can we bring new funds outside of the county, outside of Harnett Economic Development Corporation to the table to be able to leverage, to be able to support some projects. So we're right now pursuing Golden Leaf Foundation grant. We're also pursuing the EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant, which the latter is a 4-year grant. And one thing that's come since we submitted this to Melissa last week is we're now seeking a $100,000 grant from Duke Energy to be able to continue the Robin Hood site, the due diligence exercises. But that's our report today. It's relatively quick. It's one of those things that we're putting a lot of effort into the product development. But as you can see with the video on the front end, our existing manufacturers, they matter. In fact, they're the foundation of everything that we do. They're our best sellers for new companies that come in. Any questions?
Questions or comments from Mr. Barrington?
I don't have any questions, but I want to comment. I think you're doing an excellent job
Thank you.
with the sites. We've been working on this for, I don't know how long. I don't know how long, but I see a future there. So thank you. Thank you for the work you and your staff are doing.
No, you're very welcome. I will lastly say, and this is just, we feel very confident, we feel very bullish on opportunities here in Harnett County, especially with what's coming down the pike with the new buildings, with the new sites. We're getting attention that we haven't before, and the more attention we get, the more opportunities we will seek, more visits will be coming, and successes will occur. We feel bullish even this fiscal year that we'd be hard pressed to think that we will not see a success before the end of this fiscal year, based on what we've been working on this far.
Well, I think that we are now on the map. I mean, I served on the Economic Development Board for many years,
Yes, ma'am.
but I see no movement on that board. So now I feel that we are moving forward. And that was my only argument. They didn't like what I said, but look at what has happened since we brought someone in here that have the know-how how to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, discuss a request for approval to enter into an MOU with Homeland Security Investigations. Mr. Gary McNeil, good morning, sir.
Good morning. We would like to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Homeland Security Investigations. We've always partnered with them. The advantage to us and to the county is we have access to their resources. This mostly is going to deal with child pornography, child exploitation of minors is basically what this position would concentrate on. It's a part-time position. The second part is if they will pay any overtime that our agent, investigator works with them on any project. So twofold, we get their cooperation, and any overtime money, they will reimburse the county for any overtime of our investigator. They also provide training free of charge to our investigator. That would also be an advantage to the sheriff's office.
Questions or comments?
I don't want to comment on this.
Pleasure of the board to add this.
I was a consent agenda.
We'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda for approval. All right, you're up again, sir. Discuss a request for approval to enter in with an agreement for Cornerstone Detention Products.
The video surveillance system we have in mostly the detention center, there is also some cameras on the exterior of the sheriff's office. We've not done a major upgrade on that system since we moved in 16 years ago. We have replaced some cameras, but right now one of the servers that captures and maintains the video for us is down. So we looked at a big project in replacing cameras, upgrading cameras. We're going to add cameras to areas where we have found that's not covered, that will improve the safety for our staff and inmates. So this is a big project and a major upgrade for our camera and surveillance system since 2009.
What is is that budget amendment attached on here?
Yes, sir, if I could. So basically, as Lisa and I go through CIP request and also during the budget time, if there are capital request items that are kind of things that we could go ahead and take care of, we pull those out. This is an item that when we were reviewing the CIP program, actually we looked at where the technology that they're doing now, part of this system is going to connect, and it just makes sense for us to be able to pull this from next year's budget CIP plan and go ahead and start implementation this year. And the budget amendment that you have in front of you, if you are so agreeable, I had some commercial paper that matured, so that provided the funding that we needed to be able to go ahead and pay this without having to appropriate fund balance. So, and considering the nature of everything, the timing, we thought it was just a good fit if you are so agreeable to go ahead and let's get all that put together and move forward with it.
I need you to find some more of that paper. So.
No, sir, I am tapped out.
All right. Any?
That's illegal.
Any other questions or comments? Pleasure of the board.
Consent.
What's needed?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda as well. And sir, you are up again to discuss a request for approval to extend the contract with Paytel Communications.
Yes, we've had a long history with Paytel Communications. They furnished phone access, also tablets that allowed inmates to text their family and friends. The tablets also allow them to take educational programs while they're incarcerated. It's also used as a disciplinary tool that when they break some of our rules that we can take something away from them that they're using. So this is extending their contract. They have been great partners in allowing us bringing in some other software programs that we use through them at no charge. This is another example today is that they're going to give another company that we use to do our rounds electronically now, and they're allowing that company to access their Wi-Fi system that's a private system within the jail. So they've been great partners, and this just continuing on the partnership with Paytel.
All right. Questions or comments?
I apologize, but explain to me about the tablets for the inmates.
Their tablets are not iPads. They're not connected to the outside world. They're not on the internet. It's a closed system where we control what they see, but they also can use them to text their family instead of calling them on the phone. But it has education, like I said, educational programs where they can work on items. They can't get a high school diploma, but they can use the courses that they take online or on the tablets to go to CCCC or other technical schools and prove to them that they are progressing in learning course or taking courses to increase their ability to get a GED.
And all of this is provided in the jail?
Yes.
And you also get mail. You all scan in their
Yeah, it's they can get mail. We've stopped several years ago. They do not get any mail that's delivered except for legal mail. Mail is sent to another company that scans the letters, and then electronically the inmate can access. So that cuts down the ability for contraband to be sent in through mail. So they don't physically get in mail. So that's another advantage of that Paytel is allow us to use their tablets for them to receive. They can order their canteen. They can file grievances through their tablets. So it's been a great tool for us in managing the inmates.
Well, now I understand it, because I didn't understand it, because I have received letters. Now, that's why you don't have no communication with sending letters or stuff like that, right?
No, ma'am.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And then, too, I appreciate the fact that you explain it to us, because you hear negative stuff all the time about the jail. I think that with this, it's a positive thing.
Thank you, ma'am.
questions or comments. Pleasure of the board. We'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda as well. And sir, you're up one more time. Discuss a request for approval of surplus weapons.
Yes, sir. We're asking to surplus, I think it was 82 weapons. These are weapons that we've taken out of service where we've replaced the weapons that we use. We usually depending on the weapons, anywhere from 5 to 10 years, we replace weapons because of the wear and tear on the weapon or because of new technology. So this is accumulation of weapons that we have took out of service in the last few years that we want to surplus and sell, and then we'll turn around and use those funds to buy new weapons. It's just a cycle that saves the county money by surplusing them and then purchasing new weapons.
Any questions or comments?
Consent.
We'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda for approval as well. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank y'all.
Next, discuss a request for permission to accept a commemorative bench and plaque. Ms. Kimberly Van Beck, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. The library has respectfully requested approval to accept a commemorative bench and plaque that is honoring the late Paul Green and Rassie McLeod, his friend who resided in Harnett County. This donation is being generously offered by the Paul Green Foundation and was approved by the library board. It would be installed on the front porch area of the library building. Included in your packet, there was a more detailed biography of Paul Green, and it also included a mock-up of the plaque. Paul Green was a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright, author, and educator, and was a prominent North Carolinian known for his influential work on social issues, Southern culture, and the human condition. He has strong ties to Harnett County. US 421 is designated as the Paul Green Memorial Highway, and the library currently displays a bust in his honor, and we do house the Paul Green collection in our local history room. The Paul Green Foundation will cover all costs associated with the bench and plaque, and we have consulted with our facilities department, and they are prepared to assist with the installation. I am happy to take any and all questions that you may have.
Questions or comments?
Consent.
We'll go ahead and add this to the consent agenda as well. And ma'am, you are up again to discuss a request to apply for a State Liberty of North Carolina Continuing Education Scholarship Grant.
We are asking permission to apply for a grant in the amount of $2,500. We would use the funds to send an employee to the American Library Association conference. It would cover the cost of their registration as well as travel expenses. This is a non-matching grant, so there would be no additional funds required of the county.
Questions, comments?
Consent.
Go ahead and add this to consent agenda as well, Madam Clerk. Thank you very much. Okay, this time we will review applications to serve on boards and committees. I've got OPAC.
I apologize.
Well, we got it right here on our screen in front of us. Currently have a resignation from Ms. Laura Barney. She serves as a District 3 member for the Commission for Women and Youth. Pleasure of the board to go ahead and accept her resignation.
So,
Okay, we'll go ahead and accept her resignation. We've received an application from Betty Gwen Johnson Goodwin. She'd like to be considered for appointment for the public member of the Board of Health. Is there any objection to Miss Betty Goodwin?
No.
No? Pleasure of the board to add her for approval next week as well. We'll go ahead and do that, Madam Clerk. And then we've also received a resignation from Candy Tudor. She serves as the nurse position on the board. Pleasure of the board to go ahead and accept her resignation.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and add that acceptance as well for the resignation. Right. For the JCPC, we have an application from Katasha 2. She would like to be considered for appointment, as well as an application from Cindy Delgado. She serves as the commissioner appointee. She would like reappointment. So if we can look at their applications, please.
What commissioner appointed her? Yes, sir.
2 is District 3. 2 is District 3, yeah.
Well, that was 2. So who's, there we go. She would like reappointment. This was the...
2, I think.
In District 2.
It's District 2.
Is there any opposition to either of these two applications for Miss 2 as well as Elgato? I'm good.
I'm
No
good.
objections. We'll go ahead and approve both of these applications as well. And then on to the Harnett County First Responders Advisory Committee. We have 5 vacancies, and we have many applications for those. We have a member from the Harnett County Emergency Services Department, Mr. Larry Smith from the Director of Emergency Services, and then we have 2 members from each of the county's voting districts. So there's 2 vacancies from 5 and 1 from 1.
Well, I approve one.
I think we probably need to have this on for further discussion, or we can do it now. And this is no reflection on Mr. Smith, but we already pay him for his opinion as a director. And I thought the whole purpose of this committee was to put people on there that weren't employees, so as an advisory council and oversight committee. So I don't know how we need to address this, but at this point, I don't know.
I would agree with those sentiments. I think that.
Is there any rules that say you can't serve on that committee?
Well, as we're starting this up, we had
It's
initially.
my district, that's what I'm asking.
Not,
Just do one.
no, the first one is emergency. You got one down below, but this one is for as far as him being County Emergency Service Department.
Oh, well, it would seem to me that if he's with the county emergency department, that's a position that's much needed with, his job and all.
Yes, ma'am, but the reason for this citizens board and this community board is not to have more members that are already serving in director positions or holding these positions. We'd like members from the community and citizens advisory. Instead of him being a director and being on here, he can come to us. Does that make sense?
No.
He can give his opinion to us at any time as a director of emergency services. So we would like somebody else on that board who is a citizen or somebody else from the county.
Well, you have one vacant there from District 1. I don't know any of these people here.
Want some clarification?
Yes, I need clarification.
Traditionally, when we appoint members from voting districts, usually we appoint citizens, not employees. And that's why in the bylaws, we have other positions in which we specifically name employees to be part of this board. So we have a member from Harnett County Emergency Services Department, 1 member from Sheriff's Office, member from E911, the local municipal police departments, DA's office. Those are all employees of some organization. The voting districts are generally intended for citizens to be appointed to it and not employees. It's not saying you can't, but I would say traditionally when you appoint a voting district, you're appointing a non-employee.
Okay, well, I understand that.
I think that on that one for where we were taking somebody from the Emergency Service Department, if it's one of the workers, not the director, because he always has access to us.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
So if you just one of the workers in that position.
Yeah, and that's no reflection on Mr. Smith. It's just.
They're saying,
But I mean, if you got the head guy, who's going to gripe up? I mean, you know what I mean? You need some people that are griping up.
I think what we need to do is see if there's someone, I mean, the intent is that there is someone knowledgeable of how emergency services works.
Absolutely.
But not have it be the director so that it's, obviously the most knowledgeable, but also making sure that that input on procedures so that if a citizen asks a question, how do you dispatch, how do you run for calls of an ambulance? They can at least explain the process so that they understand and answer questions. So we've got to find someone knowledgeable. So I can work with Larry to see if he has a recommendation of a few individuals that may be interested in serving that are paramedics in the department that could potentially be members to be able to show the processes that we do and how we work, so that if questions are asked by the citizens, they're able to be answered, and see if he can get some volunteers of maybe that level, of the paramedic level.
Well, I think that's a good solution there, because you need a knowledgeable person. So I'm all for that. So we're just postponing this till you find that person, right?
I just say we hold this one open till the next meeting and give them a chance to see if one of the other members would step up and do that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'd be fine with that, but I would also encourage the board that next week we try to make some decisions instead of kicking the can down the road week after week after week.
So we've got 5 positions that need filling. Is that what I read?
Got
Every time I get to reading, Ben changes.
I still have 2. So is there only 3 positions, or are these only because we've received are the other districts full?
Yeah.
Okay.
More.
Is there any on District 5 that you want?
It looks like there's 2 on 5, 1 on
One on-
1, and then the emergency service department, so we are missing 1 somewhere if we've got 5 vacancies.
Yeah, I can make my decision, I guess, next week. Go ahead and I'll read through all their applications again.
I know him, but
Pleasure of the board to go ahead and hold this open until next week.
I thought you were encouraging us to go ahead and handle it.
I'm saying let's do it next week. Let's make sure we do it.
Okay.
All right. We'll go ahead and hold this open until
And I
next week.
appreciate that, because I don't know.
All right, thank you.
He's a good guy.
All right. That brings us to the county manager's report. Mr. Trout.
Mr. Chairman, the first thing I want to do is recognize Christine Wallace, if she could stand up. She recently received an award as the North Carolina Assessor of the Year from the North Carolina Association of Assessing Officers. So we're very proud of Christine and the work that she's been doing in the department, and it was great to have it recognized by her peers. So congratulations, Christine.
Congratulations.
Proud of you.
And did I understand that's the first time Harnett County's been honored with somebody winning an award such as this?
Yes, that is the first time that an assessor from that department
Congratulations.
has been recognized statewide. The last item I have is the countywide survey, citizen survey is now live. You can go to it and fill it out if you'd like at harnettcountysurvey.org. This is going to be a scientific survey, so individuals will be receiving surveys in the mail to be filled out with information that give us feedback on how we've been doing. So this is part of our performance management program. We need to gauge how our performance is, excuse me, and be able to then, in the future, do this survey again and be able to establish the baseline this year and measure how we're doing in the future.
Good luck.
That's it.
Outstanding. And I understand we have a need for closed session?
Yes, we do.
I move the board go into closed session for the following purpose: to instruct county staff concerning the position to be taken on behalf of the county in negotiating the price and other material terms of contract for the acquisition of real property. Motion's made pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A5.
You got a motion and a second to go into closed session. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We'll move into closed session. And then closed session to reconvene and open. I'll call the meeting back to order.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. We are adjourned.